another episode of Where's the Remote? Each week, we're breaking down the TV everyone's talking about in sci-fi, drama, reality TV, and everything in between. I'm your host, Steven, and I'm joined here by my amazing co-host, Régine. What's poppin', friend? How's life?
I'm here. There's that.
We love to hear it. We love to hear it,
There's
like,
that. There's that.
listen, it's just another Tuesday in the books, and so,
Yeah,
just
no.
gotta make sure you're doing good at all times.
Child, we
But
barely making it, but
okay.
What give you it was Lent. What give you
You and me both. You and me both. Um, but we're here to recap the latest episode of Paradise, episode 4. We're in the second season.
Mhm.
We started off with a 3-episode premiere, and we've been going week to week. But before we recap that, there's just a couple things I want to note.
Okay.
Um, it's definitely been award season, for those who are unaware. And you and I talked about this offline.
Yeah.
And I think it's the SAG After Awards that are just now called the After Awards that
Here.
happen on Netflix on Sunday, I believe. And I just came on here to say all the people I root for won. So, you know,
And that's always black. Yeah.
yeah, like when I say I'm a tastemaker, there's a reason why. There's a reason why. But Michael B. Jordan won Best Actor in a Drama, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
Best Male Actor. And I believe The Pit won for Best Ensemble Cast. I
Yes.
think Wumi won for Best Supporting Actress. She may have won that in NAACP awards,
Okay.
but Shorty from Weapons won Best Supporting Actress, and then they gave Harrison Ford a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Mm.
And probably the moment that kind of like touched me the most, Seth Rogen accepted an award for Catherine O'Hara because she won, I think, Best Supporting Actress in a Comedy, and obviously Catherine O'Hara just recently passed, so he had a very touching speech for her, accepting the award on her behalf. But yeah, it was just nice to see, and in a weird way, I was so happy because like this isn't the I was about to say the Grammys. This isn't the Oscars. This isn't Academy Awards where, other like executives or like production crew or whoever are also in the building,
Mhm.
which they deserve their time to shine as well. But I think you see a different sort of energy with just only the actors because these are people who are working tirelessly on their craft. And so they may be fans of other actors or actresses, and they don't necessarily see them
Yeah.
unless they happen to be in the same project. So it's like
Yes.
you see how Viola Davis was so excited to announce that MBJ won, or you're seeing, people were crying when Catherine O'Hara won her award.
Mhm.
Like those are people like they're it's like it's the same thing about how they mention, professional sports. It's like this is a brotherhood. Like once you're in the NBA or an NFL, like you're in this forever, even if you do retire.
Yeah.
And so you kind of saw that same sentiment with that as well. So I don't know if you caught any of the clips that was online, but
No, I haven't. I don't have time. I don't have to
listen,
I only have time to scroll on my phone in the late nights of the hour.
and that's exactly how I caught it. So there's that. But yeah, no, it was just nice. And then obviously a lot of the conversation is since MBJ won for Best Actor,
Yeah.
more than likely he's going to win the
And
Oscar
they
for
should.
listen.
And they should.
For those who are new to the show, we did our first annual
Yes.
Couch Potato Awards
Yes.
in December, and we both had MBJ winning as Best Actor of the Year. And
'Cause he
I
did.
ain't trying to hear none of that. I don't give a fuck
He
about no Marty
did.
Supreme, no Leo and One Battle and Another. I
Yeah.
should watch both of those eventually at some
Yeah.
point.
100.
But
I did see One Battle After Another. Interesting film.
we talked about it offline, but we don't have to bring it up there.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, oh, and what's the other one? Hamnet. which I think is like some love story movie
Okay.
that I saw a lot of people
Like, loved
gave
it.
high praise. Yeah, like, gave high praise to it. So I'm like, you know what? I'll give
Yeah.
that one a shot.
I need to find
But yeah,
time to watch.
nobody's topping MPJ. Like
No. I seen a interview where, what's her name? The love interest, one of the love interests on Sinners.
Haley Steinfeld,
No,
the
other one.
white one, Wunmi.
Woomy, she was saying, like, how well he was acting in there, like,
Mhm.
where, like, he would change, like, the way that, like, Smoke or what's the other one? Smoke and
Stack.
Jack, like, different, like, characteristics, like, he would just switch it up, like, he was in his and that's what I said. He literally like, I almost forgot that Michael B. Jordan was playing both because that is how well he really was, like, showing the differences in these characters. He deserves everything he's getting and gotten and then some. Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
I love that they basically been on a damn press tour for
Yeah.
like a year because they're probably the most in demand cast and
Yes.
director. They're at
Yes.
every award show, they're at every sort of event that wants
Yes.
them to have them there, and they all deserve it. And I did see that clip as well. I think the reference she made, well, not the reference she made, but what she said specifically, I forgot which one of the two, but
Her
she was
dimple.
saying like Michael don't have dimples. Like he forced himself to like
Didn't have
display a
dimples.
dimple.
I be saying, ugh.
Man, I don't know. All right. All right. But
Please.
yes, that's the level of like
Yeah.
dedication to the craft that,
Yeah.
that we all sort of appreciate. So it's like this
Yeah.
is I mean, I don't want to make this statement now, so I'll hold off until later. But it's why we appreciate people and the projects
Yeah.
that exist in this world because it truly is an art form. Like
It
yes,
is.
they're TV shows, they're movies, they make a bunch shit ton of money or whatever. They're technically entertainment, but they really are an art form.
Yes.
Like I like how I think because Delroy accepted a award, I think at the NAACP for the cast themselves. I think they won for like best ensemble cast at
Mhm.
the NAACP awards. So Delroy is the one who gave the speech, and he was like, I think at the end he said something along the lines of like, for all the young people out there, like you're not an actor, like you're a thespian. Like
Mhm.
that's the sort of gravitas
Yes.
that people in that field should like carry for with themselves. I
Yeah.
think a lot of times we see certain sort of people who climb the ranks who are
Yeah.
just more gimmick than actual like truly perfecting their craft. But like for a majority of them, like they put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears
Yeah.
into the work that they do. So shout out to all of them. Shout out to all of them.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's all I have in terms of any sort of updates or things we wanted to mention. As I said, we're covering the latest episode of Paradise. Give you guys a quick recap on what happened in the episode. Then we'll give our immediate thoughts. And then I think we might be on the same page in terms of final ratings when it comes to this. But
Okay.
I have uh sort of caveat when it comes to my rating.
Okay.
So yeah. But yeah, let's start off with this recap.
Okay.
Paradise season 2 episode 4 titled A Holy Charge is the season's most emotionally devastating hour yet. Xavier and Annie make a treacherous journey together, during which she dies during childbirth,
Mm.
leaving him to promise he'll look after her newborn. At an abandoned diner, Xavier teaches Annie parenting lessons, how to swaddle a baby, how to stay open to love in a broken world, before early labor cramps stop her in her tracks. He races to a nearby farmhouse for supplies, and the strangers there rush to help, but Annie knows she won't survive, so she writes a note for her daughter, asks Xavier to take care of her until he finds Link, and dies in Xavier's arms.
Mm.
The scene, underscored by Ingrid Michaelson's cover of Can't Help Falling in Love, woven throughout are flashbacks to the first birth in the bunker where President Cal stood by Luisa's side during an emergency C-section and Sinatra quietly grieving her own lost son.
Mhm.
Later, cradled the newborn and whispered that someday he'll see real stars, hinting at her secret plan to restore the surface world. The episode also introduces a growing sci-fi thread as Xavier confides to Annie that he's been having visions of things that haven't happened yet, mirroring dreams Link is having of the same hallway encounter. The episode ends with Xavier arriving in Atlanta, baby strapped to his chest, only to be greeted by a stranger who claims Terry was his closest companion and that she's been taken.
Mm.
What were your thoughts to this episode?
This episode, I don't have many notes because I was just so tuned in
Yo.
into the episode.
We might be twins. We might be twins. Cause like literally before we started recording, like I
Yeah,
started typing out my thoughts because
yeah.
I was so locked in. I barely wrote anything at first.
No, it was just like the story was being told. Like there was no need to even guess what's happening, no need to even think about 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Like there was no need because if everything was playing out exactly how it needed to, and it's like
Mhm.
this is why I have my thing about why get pregnant in apocalypse? Why get pregnant in apocalypse? Because when you, I,
I mean, we said it in the other episode, like so many things could go wrong when it
yes,
comes to that. And
yes, yes. It's like when I think about like Game of Thrones, right? Or like in that universe where they had maesters or whatever, like they only knew so much. And like that is one thing, like I think in House of Dragons, where Rhaenyra's mom passed away
mhm,
during childbirth. And it's like, yeah, it's either I save you or the kid. Like, and it's like there's not much you can do when it gets to that scenario.
Damon's first wife as well.
Yeah.
She had her dragon unalive her because she couldn't deal with
Yeah. So
the
it's
potential
like,
miscarriage.
yeah, so it's like, yeah, in Apocalypse too, like, that's heartbreaking, heartbreaking, like, everything about it, like, she wants to go to Colorado because she does want to, like, see this man again, and it's like but then she sees why he needs to go get his wife, so she understands that, and then had the baby, and then she don't make it, and then what's Xavier gonna do with a baby on this journey? Like, everything about it is just, like, so crazy, but great storytelling, man. No holes at all.
This is why we do what we do.
Yeah.
It's just funny how many like sort of coincidences I've been having recently, or like the universe
Mhm.
sending me stuff. We
Yeah.
had a conversation yesterday offline that
Oh,
I
yeah.
won't bring up. But um the other day, I forgot what recording we were doing, but I was talking about like the reason why I'm such a hard grader is because like there's just certain things that happen or things that I've watched with my own two eyes. Is like this is the standard.
Yes.
So it's like when I see other things, it's like you're good, but you're not.
They're great.
What another Hove bar, he's all right, but he's not real. Like you like you good, but you're not there. Like
Yeah.
you're just not there yet.
Yeah.
And so like I don't know at what minute I said this, and this is probably I'm jumping ahead too much, but at a certain point I was like 5 stars, five
Mhm.
stars. Like there
No,
probably was like
no, 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 no way, no way.
yeah, like
5
I wasn't.
stars?
I probably had like a good 45, not 45, 45 might be excessive. Probably had like a good 30 minutes left of the
Yeah,
show, and I was like, "Nah,
this is
5
great.
stars.
Yeah,
This is again, this is why we do what we do.
yeah.
This is why I'm so passionate about storytelling because
Mhm.
you don't need the grandeur. When you in there writing that shit, like and it was weird because like the beginning wasn't that crazy.
Mhm.
Like, it's just Xavier and Annie having their
Yep.
conversations, going through time as like, he's healing or whatever. And I'm like, yo, something about this energy just has me really fixated and focused right now.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know what is happening, but I'm locked in.
yeah.
And then, like, I can't even really describe the emotion because there was no way for me to predict the events of what happened in the
No,
episode.
no.
But there was just something, I don't wanna call it anxiety, I don't know if I wanna call it intuition, but
Mhm.
something was telling me this is about to be a banger. Like,
Dang.
this is about to slap. Like, I don't know what was creating that for me because again, it's just Xavier and Annie having their conversations. Little, it was almost like a father daughter or older brother younger sister sort of dynamic between them, and I was like, okay, this is cool, but like
Yeah.
there was some sort of energy that I was getting in that time, and I was like, oh nah, this is
Yeah.
about to be all timer, like all timer.
Yeah.
um so yeah, this is why Where's the Remote exists, because there's TV shows that deserve their praise, that
Mhm.
deserve to be highlighted. Actors, actresses, production people, makeup people, directors, showrunners, like they deserve their flowers because, you know, we're in a day and age where one, our administration is deleting history, but we're also in a day and age with technology where so many things get lost and get thrown to the wayside, which related but unrelated, a lot of the stuff I've been watching on YouTube lately is like, here are the shows from the 90s that failed, or like, here's these cartoons that popped off in the 90s and like
Mhm.
whatever. It's like going back and revisiting that nostalgia to a certain extent, or stuff that I've never heard about before. It's like, oh, damn, like this person was on this show and this, failed or whatever. And it's like, I say that to say, once the season's over, we're going to be focused on the next show
Yeah.
or whatever else is out there. Or who even knows if this country's still going to be here. But because of technology, there's so many different things that we're going to get, uh, you know, overflowed with,
Yeah.
you know. And you and I are old enough to remember like the days of the TV guide where,
Mhm.
you know, you got to search to find what's new and see, like, you don't know nothing about it, and
Gotta watch
that's
them
how you discover.
commercials. You gotta like, yeah,
Right, hopefully you
yeah,
capture a trailer or something, but now it's like there's trailers everywhere, there's
yeah,
streaming services everywhere, so
yeah,
it's like it's so easy to get distracted, and it's like, nah, some of these shows deserve to be spoken about, like, they deserve to basically, like, live on forever, especially going back to streaming, hopefully we would, well, Hulu's owned by Disney, so they're safe, but, like, when you talk about certain shows that live on HBO, here today, gone tomorrow. Like they treating them like cheap whores. A show that you supposed to only watch on HBO be on Netflix sometimes or
yep,
be on other
yep,
platforms, and
yep,
it's like, bro,
yep.
what are we doing? What are we doing? So I know I went on a little tangent, but like, yeah,
Yeah,
this is one of them ones. This is one
yeah,
of them ones.
yeah,
Um, Okay, in terms of things that stood out to me, clearly I have this wrong. But
mm,
I initially wrote down that I thought like maybe at first Link and Xavier had some history
mm,
and maybe there was like some sci-fi element that made them forget. But clearly it's moving
yeah.
forward, not looking at the
Yeah, they
past.
I think they were both having, like, the same well, that's how they're showing it to us, they're having the same type
Yes,
of vision, and I could tell, like, they didn't know, but then also I seen this TikTok where they're talking about time traveling. I don't know if I said this last episode.
maybe, possibly.
Maybe, but they're talking about time traveling, and it made me think about, of course, Lost. Made me think about Lost and, like, how the nosebleeds in Lost was, like, every time, like
Oh yeah, and the island is electromagnetic
yes,
fields.
yes, and
I didn't
every
even think about that.
yes, when she I was like, it made me think about Lost because, when, they met the doctor and then he started, like, the whole quantum leaping and all of this, and, like, every time they would quantum leap,
Yeah,
they would have
Desmond
nosebleed. Yeah,
Desmond was going through it.
bruh.
Desmond
He almost got fried, died, and laid to the side
Listen,
for that
man.
man. But anyway, but, like, yeah, like, maybe time traveling, but it made me think about Lost because of the nosebleeds. It's like, yeah, like, that
Mm,
potentially could be a
Again, this is why art is so great, because if you have that kinda impact, you can influence other people. Because if you have watched Paradise up until this point, the last thing I'm thinking about is Lost in any sort of capacity. But we all, whether you're a musician, you're doing TV, you're doing film or whatever, you all draw inspiration from other people. So
yeah,
the fact that that could potentially be a certain plot line, and then it's like, damn, like you love Lost the same way I love Lost,
yeah,
and like you put this little sprinkle
yeah,
on your show with that, like, and shout out to them, shout
yeah,
out to them, and
yeah,
shout out to the creator for making that
We'll see though,
theory.
like, they haven't said it, but it
Right,
potentially
right,
could be,
right,
it
yeah.
potentially could be.
Because this has been way more grounded
Yeah,
sort of sci-fi
yeah,
versus, what other shows may be from a sci-fi perspective.
yeah.
I don't know if you have anything in terms of, like, Xavier and Annie's dialogue while they were still at Graceland. Like, I was way too locked in, so I didn't write down any of the notes. I didn't write down any notes in
No.
regards to the dialogue that they were having there, but I did have, like, a little joke of, I don't know if I would have to watch it again. I'm probably gonna watch it again because that was a good episode, but I would have to watch it again to see if they pulled the logo off, but I was laughing when Annie was on the horse
Mhm.
and she had on it looked like a North Face to me,
Yes. There was no
like
North Face label at all. I was
yeah, and I
well,
was like, "That looked like a North Face to me." Like,
100%.
for a certain age group, like, that is top tier jacket,
Yes.
top tier winter coat, like
I need me one right now, but, no, but it's so crazy because Link said when he worked at, I don't know, Dick's or REI, he was like, he stole a whole bunch of North Face gear. So in my head, I'm thinking,
I forgot about that.
he stole it for her, so, like, he had a couple of North Face in the trunk that he had. That's what I was
Mm,
thinking at least, but probably not.
but yeah, I don't know what the kids are wearing now because they be on
They not wearing
Canada
North Face
Goose.
no more? Yeah, Canada Goose
They
too ex first off, North Face is too expensive, but Canada Goose
yeah,
is extremely and they went
charging people crazy amount for me to not be cold is wild, but,
what?
capitalism. Um Then jumping forward, this part definitely made me tear up.
Mhm,
But this is when Xavier and Annie are at the Waffle House,
mhm,
and he's like kind of giving her pointers about parenthood or whatever. And then he references his father about his father was speaking about when he was born, and essentially like, that's for the first time in your life, that's when you feel life at full volume.
mhm.
Like the birth of your child and holding your child is when you experience life at full volume. You tune out all the noise. You
Yeah,
tune out, can I afford this? Can I pay for that? Do I
yeah,
got to go to work? It's this sort of experience. First, before I even say that, the whole baby propaganda,
it
nah,
was propaganda. I mean,
yeah,
I
I'm not.
said, "Whoa, not y'all making me change my mind."
It wasn't, well,
No time.
thankfully it worked on you because that shit wasn't working on me. Okay.
Oh my god.
um, but yeah, but when he said that, it made me emotional because it's like, for anybody that's follows me on social, has had the pleasure to have conversations with me in person,
Mhm,
like, I'm very vocal about how I don't love capitalism. I think a lot of millennials in general,
yeah,
you go anywhere online, we're being very vocal about how we do not like how systems are being run. And so I say that to say, because the way the system currently is, we rarely get a chance to experience life at full volume because
mhm,
you're constantly in the rat race.
mhm,
I need to pay my rent. I
mhm,
need a better job. I
mhm.
need a better car.
I
I
need
need
to
to
survive.
I need all these different things. So there's very rare chances that you're fortunate enough to like actually just exhale and just look at life in a certain way.
Mhm,
And so I always tell people like perspective is very important. It's very important to have perspective. You can still two things can be true.
yeah,
You could still be ambitious, but also be aware of like, okay, I actually done some shit. Like I could, don't be so hard on myself and
yeah,
like breathe and like, you know what? My life could have turned up in so many different other ways,
yeah,
but I'm here right now, and so I
yeah.
gotta be appreciative of it. But that's very hard to do when you got the thumb of the man pushing you down, you know? Like,
Asshole.
yeah, so it's like that touched me because it was like, damn, I don't know how many times I've experienced that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't plan to have children, so that shit's not happening.
Can't
But
even
it's like,
brighter side of it at all, and I hear older people say that all the time, like, "You're never ready," and da, 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 da. In my head, I'm thinking, "That sounds silly." That sounds so silly, but, like, I guess
it's the
the
truth,
joys of it
unfortunately.
all. I get
Yeah,
the
like
joys of, like, building your own and, continuing something. I don't know, capitalism has fried my brain, so I can't even see it. I can't even see it.
Listen, I'll flip this whole shit over if it was up to me. I'm sick of this shit because
Yeah.
none of this shit makes sense. When the girlies be on Twitter talking about we wasn't supposed to be doing this, we were supposed to be naked picking mangoes off the tree.
Hey,
Like, listen,
I'm not
I'm 6'3". I'll help.
listen,
I'll help
I'm not too, I don't care about that. Really. If I ain't gotta pay no bills, sure. Sure, sure.
because
I'll
yeah,
be naked and
yeah,
pick the mangoes.
yeah. I was definitely surprised that he really left her to try to get help. Like,
Bruh, that was so
bruh.
scary, but, like, thank God he did though, right? Because there is no way Xavier was going to be able to
Mm-mm. He
have
was panicking. He
yeah,
was low key panicking in the moment,
he
but
had
he
no
also
tools
like knew he didn't have what he needed
he
to
had
do
no
what.
tools at all.
Yeah.
Thank God it worked out, like, with him trusting people, like, Annie's like, "You just can't trust anybody out here," which is, like,
Hmm.
dead ass though, like, people are surviving. Time has come, so things have kinda settled down, but when people are in survival mode, we see it in all these apocalyptic show even Lost, hate to bring it up again, but, it was them versus the others because it's like you're trying to survive, so you're not even thinking about like, the people that I'm with, that's my crew. The people outside of them, they're the others, and we can't trust them. We can't trust them at all, so, like, I get that, but, like, thank God Randall Pearson, AKA Xavier, like, this humanity to him as a character, like, unfortunately, you have to trust people. Like, maybe it'll work out, maybe it won't, but I need to try at least.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Hmm. Which, not to jump ahead, but I think it ties into what that one, I think she was Native American or maybe Mexican, I don't know.
Mhm.
That one actress that Xavier was talking to after everything had
Yeah.
happened, and she was basically the line that stood out to me, she basically said, "How quickly our sins become our children's burdens."
Mhm.
And I think that directly tied into Annie because she essentially grew up as like a abandoned child, even though her mom was there,
Mhm.
um, to a certain extent, which created the kind of trauma
Mhm.
that she had to grow up with, and then obviously she was a tour guide, but it's like you're not really connecting with people. You're
Yeah.
just spewing the same rhetoric over and over again, and then clocking out and dipping. And
Yeah.
then the only person she could trust was Gail. Was
I
no, it
think
wasn't Gail.
was that her
I
name?
forget her name. I
Yeah.
forget her name.
Maybe
I
it was
think it was Gail.
I think it
I
was
think it was Gail. That's the only person she could trust, and that was the person that she
yeah.
lost in the same way that her mother did. And
Mhm.
even with Link, like she didn't trust him at first.
Yep.
Then I don't know if I want to call it falling in love, but she had admiration for him. But
Yeah.
then he ends up leaving,
Mhm.
and then she even says like the only reason why she didn't go was because she was scared because
Mhm.
she's so used to like being on her own and like I guess self-sabotaging in that sort of way. And so I think it was interesting to have that sort of you had the two parallels earlier on because Xavier's like, I gotta find my wife. And Annie's like, no, we're going to Colorado,
Yeah.
motherfucker. But then eventually they agree. And then we see the parallels again of Xavier being someone who wants to be welcoming and wanting to trust people, and Annie still being standoffish.
Yeah.
Had they connected with that group of people early on, who's to say whether the situation doesn't change? But it is what it is.
Yeah.
I loved as we get through the pregnancy, the labor scenes.
Mhm.
I love the jumping
Between
backward and forward. Um, it's crazy how President Cal and Billy are dead, but you can still feel their energy
Mhm.
with with those flashback scenes. Like Cal is, like his father said, like you let this idiot become a president, but he has a good heart to a certain
Has
extent.
humanity, like, he has a personality where it's like yeah, like Obama, like, everybody loved
Hmm.
Obama because of his personality, because of his warm-heartedness, like, because he sees people as people and not, you know,
Right,
who don't c
right,
what we currently got. So it's like, yeah, yeah,
right.
you
And even Billy,
yeah,
like being serious, like your Secret Service, you're supposed to be serious, but
yeah,
there's like,
that's
telling jokes and like being
yeah,
sarcastic, and it's like you still get that presence there. So I love that. Shout out to Jessica Marie Garcia, who plays Laurie or Laura, if I'm not mistaken. Let me scroll up. Louisa, my bad. She plays Louisa, the pregnant woman at the bunker.
Mhm.
I know her from Netflix's On My Block, which was
Oh,
like a kid drama-ish sort of show. It was decent. It was one
like
of those shows that kind of like,
my block at least.
yeah, it was decent. It
Yeah.
was like it was based in LA where this girl like falls in love with this Mexican kid at her school, but the Mexican kid, he's a good kid at heart, but
Mhm.
like all of his family members are in gangs. So it's like, does he stay on the right path or does he fall to gang life and gang culture?
Yeah.
And like, what are the repercussions when he does fall into that and how that impacts him and his friends and things of that nature? It was a decent show. It was a decent show. I'll say that for those who watched it.
Yeah.
Um, I do like that over time, like you see how Xavier, he doesn't necessarily age, but you see how time passes because like he grows his facial hair out um over that time span, whether it was with him and Annie or
Mhm.
even with him and the family at that house or
I
the
didn't
people at the
didn't even notice that. I didn't
nah, I peep
see Sterling
because
K. Brown's
I
child.
don't facial no facial hair Sterling K. Brown throws me off. I don't know why.
Like a little
Uh,
baby.
yeah, yeah, it's like and I can see all the, like, your pores, so it's like
Yeah.
the hair's supposed to be there, like, the hair's supposed to be there, so it throws me off,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you noticed, this is like a joke, but not really.
Mm.
Sterling K. Brown has an acting superpower. I don't know if you noticed, but, like, when his character is, like, is experiencing specific emotions, he blinks a lot.
Mm.
So, like, when he's unsure, he'll blink repeatedly,
Mhm.
or if he's in a tense situation, he'll blink repeatedly. Like, when his anxiety is high, his character will blink repeatedly.
Mhm.
It's like almost like a slight little tick that
Mhm.
I don't know if he does naturally or he just does that when he's in these roles.
Yeah.
Like, if you watch it again,
Mm.
really focus on his face when he's in, like, because I think he does it when he's in the house and
Mhm.
he's, like, searching,
Yeah.
he, like, blinks feverishly, and now
Mm.
it's like, "Yo, you do that often, like, I see
It
you."
definitely, like, everything about this episode reminded me of I said Randall Pearson, like, he just reminded me so much of, like, his character, like, they're so similar characters, like, very down to earth, like, very caring, like, nurturing people. It's just like,
Mhm.
it just that's a good man right there. That's a good man, Savannah.
Um, Another thing of coincidence, people won't hear my thoughts until this episode drops later in the week, but we have recorded our Rewind and Analyze rewatch series in
Mhm,
response to not response, but, catching up to season 2 of True Blood,
mhm,
and one of the I don't wanna call it a negative, but one of the notes I had was like, they kinda jump into different genres and it may not necessarily execute all the time, but then Paradise, on the other hand, I feel like this episode perfectly encapsulates that. You
mhm,
have the elements of sci-fi with the, seeing things, the memories and seeing things forward and the
yeah,
nosebleeds. You get the crazy drama aspects of it in terms of her giving birth and like
mhm,
that sort of sadness with that as well. But then you get like the more even kills level drama when they're having the conversations and like Xavier talking to Annie about parenthood or whatever. And then you get like a little bit of action and tense suspense
yeah,
when it's like they're passing the family for the first time. And then when he goes back into the house, you think like, oh damn,
yeah,
well, they're not gonna kill him, but oh damn, they're actually
they
like fucked up
happen.
people,
Yeah,
but they're actually not fucked up people. And even when they show even with that, you don't see the result. You then go back to Annie, her about to give birth, and then they pop into the
see
restaurant,
yeah.
and you think like, "Oh shit, they're about
Eh,
to kill her or do
but
something." And it's like
again, yes,
and then it's like, "No, they're here to help. They're here to help." And it's
yeah,
like those are the different elements that
yeah.
knocked out the park, and then True Blood tries to do the same sometimes and don't execute as well. And it's like it's just interesting how that happened.
I think it's a
But
lot
I don't I sorry. I say that to say it's not necessarily even a knock at True Blood, it's more so how TV has evolved over time
Oh, yes,
and how
100%.
people can you could probably be a fan of something and be like, "Oh, okay, this was cool. I enjoyed this back then." But if it was under my tutelage or if I was doing it now, I'd probably change things and like
Yeah.
how things it kind of goes back to what we were saying about the Walking Dead and how The Walking Dead kind of
Yeah.
started the whole like post-apocalyptic
Yeah,
world sort of universe thing that we now see across different shows and channels and like people have the opportunity to then make improvements on like where The Walking Dead may have fallen apart. Same thing with Lost of
yeah,
like Lost was like the first of its kind, like kind of crazy sci-fi drama and like shows that come after it maybe try to improve upon the few weaknesses that Lost had. So that was the reason why I brought that up.
yeah, I got you. Okay, no, I'm about to
Yeah.
say, well,
Yeah. I just, I gotta make sure I state things accordingly.
mm,
Um, I don't really have any more notes about the episode specifically, but I have a couple other things that I want to mention uh as well. So I'll let you go and state whatever stood out to you.
yeah, I didn't really have many, notes, like I said from the beginning, because I was just and I feel like the storytelling, it was just there was no need to put no notes. It's just like, watch it.
Just watch it.
Just watch it. But I love the holy charge, like, the whole dialogue between that, like, when he's like, "Yeah, that is called holy charge." I'm like, that's such a good like, we kinda talked about this, like, it's such a good mindset to have, but it's so hard to have that
Uh-huh.
type of mindset in the world, especially the world that we actually live in, like, especially in this show, it's like the world that we currently live in doesn't even exist, so, like, you have to change your mindset, so it's easier to have that type of holy charge mindset, but in today, it's so hard, but maybe, people are capable of changing. In today's world, it's hard. In today's world, it's hard. People do not want to change. But to have that hope that they
Uh-huh.
will is like, you know, what can you do? You can always you can always hope at least.
So you got
That yeah, exactly. I can't believe Annie died. Like, it's like we got her, like that first episode, we got her. That episode, we see the story, the love story play out. Episode 4, she's dead. Whoa. I'm triggered. I was excited to see just how these 2 get to Terry and how that's what I'm thinking. They're gonna get to Terry, she gonna have this baby, they're gonna travel back to Colorado. Fairy tale. I don't know, I'm always looking for a fairy tale ending. Like, I need to stop that. I really need to stop that because it's messing me up. But yeah, I was really thinking that that's what's gonna happen, and it's like, nope, no fairy tale. You you're yeah, you're outta here. When, when you don't have any medical issues, like, once they said the placenta is stuck and she can't stop bleeding, I was like, "Oh my god." Because even in, The Pit last season, I don't know if you remember when it was, like, a gay couple and, like, the best friend was like
oh yeah, that happened there too.
yes, and she was bleeding out of control, like, it was blood everywhere. Thank God, because 'cause they're in the hospital, they could stop it. But yeah, that's the first thing I thought popped in my head, like, "That's it. That's it."
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then we get to the end with Sinatra pulling up on Luis and the baby Calvin. So I love that she
Uh-huh.
named the baby Calvin because, even though he died, so, keep that legacy strong with the president. But, I thought Sinatra was gonna do something really, really bad
Same.
bad baby. She's such an evil person, but thank God it showed that humility to Sinatra that we kind of
For now.
yeah, I mean, yes, because we forget that she has it. Like, in the beginning, she wasn't always like this.
Uh-huh.
Eventually, like, things has happened for her to turn into this evil character, but I feel like then when Calvin was still alive, the president was still alive, she still had some type of humility to her where it's like, "I care about people. I just don't care about myself and my family and the money people." So, yeah, I think she took Terry too, though, because I feel like after she played that record to Xavier, somehow she got Terry, and that is why she's not there at all.
I'm making this face because you made a point, and I'm trying to think
Yeah.
because you essentially were talking about Sinatra and how initially when we see her in the flashbacks that she wasn't this type of individual, and
Mhm.
then I'm trying to think like, what is the story of Paradise? Like, is Paradise really about how people change
In
based off of
survival mode. In survival. That's kinda how
because we see President Cal is he's actually not a bad person, but
yeah.
because he's a president, he had to make hard decisions.
Yep.
Billy was a mercenary, but that's because he had an abusive father.
Yep.
We don't know Shorty's backstory. I forget her name.
Jane.
Jane. We don't know her backstory, but
Yeah.
maybe she's not who she is. Even the librarian, like he only did what he did because of other things.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
hmm.
I think survival is just something literally survival of the fittest, like, when you're in situations where you're surviving, it's me against the world, and I just wanna survive. I think we see it in all types of survival shows, Yellow Jackets, Lost, Grey's Anatomy,
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead, like, people just make insane decisions that would change them moving forward because they're just trying to survive. It's like, I guess I can give you
They're
grace,
they're
but
trying to create their own paradise.
okay. 'Cause what is paradise? What is paradise, essentially?
Because we see the bunker is not real paradise because it's
Yeah,
fake. There's
no
so much in
sunshine.
control.
Yeah,
Yeah. But then we also see the surface world is in paradise because the
they're in hell.
society has fallen. Yeah,
Yeah.
society has fallen. So it's about every individual creating their own paradise.
Mm. Okay, I guess we'll see. We'll see how they create it in season
I
2.
hope I'm hoping we're all right. Otherwise, it just gonna sound cheesy at the end of the day.
Boo!
Tomato, tomato. Um,
Oh, and
I
then
only have
my last
yes, go ahead, go ahead. Go ahead.
link. Link sign. It was one word. I had to pause. I'm like, "What does that word say?" On the second slide, it was like, I could not it was like, "Actually love something." I said, "I don't think that word was spelled right at all."
Oh, I ignored it. I didn't even need that at that point.
But
Like
I
I
am
was
happy
fine.
that they finally make it to the bunker, and I'm excited to see them penetrating the bunker, like, if they can penetrate the bunker and what that looks
Mm,
like. So,
yeah, yeah. I'm very excited for the rest of the season. Um, this is well, we'll talk about this later.
okay.
Okay, the only other points I wanted to make, um, this episode definitely made me appreciate episode 1 much more.
Oh.
Like, I was like, "Okay, episode" I wasn't mad at episode 1, I thought episode 1 was solid, but now that her Annie's complete story has been told, it was like, "Oh, yeah, now I see why you
They
did it the way you did it." Like,
mhm,
it makes sense.
mhm.
But then it makes me think about shows in general and the behavior of multiple episode releases, which I'll have a question for you at the end of this.
Yeah.
But, did some research. 24, which aired on Fox in 2001, famously launched its first season with a 2-hour premiere, which is
Damn,
fucking nuts. That's wild.
that's a
Uh,
movie.
yeah, but I did watch 24. 24 was good outside of all the problematic content that it shows. But yeah, it launched the first season with a 2-hour premiere, and then later seasons sometimes open with back-to-back episodes. Lost, which aired on ABC in 2004, debuted with a two-part pilot aired on consecutive nights, which is not common, I don't think. X-Files and other prestige network dramas occasionally did two-part season openers as well. Even further back, miniseries events on network TV in the 70s and 80s would air multiple parts in the same week, which I vaguely remember of like,
Yeah.
what was it? Who Shot JR or some shit like that. Um, like all them old shows. I mean, that's even before my time.
Yeah.
I just know those were like events for society or America, I should say back then of like, what's that show? It was Dallas something, whatever it was called.
Mhm.
But yeah. So my question is, because as I just said, like I feel like this episode made the episode 1 premiere make more sense of like why we're focusing on this character that we haven't seen in season 1 or whatever.
Yeah.
So my multi-question sort of thing here is like when it comes to multi-episode openers, is it good? Is it bad? Would you have preferred week to week? Because I was on Threads when the first 3 episodes dropped,
Mm.
and there were some people who hated
A
the
lot of
first
people
episode.
a lot of people hated the first episode.
Yeah,
I'm like
yeah.
that's what I'm saying, like, I try not when I'm watching this is art, okay?
Mhm,
When I am digesting art, I try not to just jump to conclusions, jump to me having my opinions and me critiquing it. Let me just watch what they're giving me, then I can make my critiques because and I think that's the whole point of dropping the first 3 episodes. Like, okay, we start off with Annie and her story, whatever. Then we get Xavier and his story, and then
mhm.
we get them together and what that looks like on the 3rd episode where it's like, okay, Annie and Xavier are meeting, all the things, da, 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 and then the 4th episode is completion. Like, it's completion where Annie is not no longer with us, Xavier is still moving on. So it's like but that makes sense though, right? Like, that
Mhm.
makes sense. I feel like if they woulda dropped it one by one, it wouldn't make sense.
I don't know.
I feel like just think about it. Starting Paradise episode 1, they just give us Annie, right? You don't see Xavier until the end, like, credits
End of
almost.
episode 2.
Yes,
I
episode
don't
you
know.
don't see him. So it's like a lot of
I
people
would say for me,
yeah,
it would make me more curious of like what direction y'all going in because
that's what
it's
I'm
like
saying.
why, but I wouldn't have taken it as a negative.
That's what I'm saying.
I think the people that we're referring to or
You're taking it as
potentially
negative.
yeah they would take it as a negative, but I would be like okay
No,
that's interesting
there's
like
a story being told that we not thinking of. They are ahead of us. They are ahead of us.
clearly
The direction they're going in, we're not even seeing it. But let them tell their story. Let the creators and the writers and the directors tell their story so that we can digest it and then think about it and all of that. Let's not jump to conclusions too quickly.
yeah 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 because yeah I mean again I think we both gave the first 3 episodes like a solid 3.
Yeah,
But
good.
then this, I'm still staying at my 3. Because I also have to think about it from the standpoint of like how I want to say this as a creative, and I don't know how much leeway they have when it comes to this. Because, for example, Stranger Things, the final season, the way they released it wasn't because of the Duffer Brothers. That was Netflix that
Yeah.
made that choice to split it up. So I don't know if Dan Fogelman, who I'll talk about shortly, um, I don't know if that was his personal choice, but I also have to think about it from the standpoint of like when you release something, you also like this is how you're giving it to people.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I could go back. Me, I'll just say for me personally, I don't know if I could go back and change a rating because I have to rate it based off of how you
But
released it
yeah, I feel that.
versus oh, I'm rating this based off of the whole entire story and how you're giving it to us. And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, but also like you have to give it to me. If you're gonna do that, then give me all the episodes versus
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
giving me a portion and then week by week, and then it's like, "Oh, now I understand why you did this," and it's like,
Yeah. It makes me think like just for us thinking about like the show, maybe we should just be writing this like writing the season. Like, you know how we rate the episodes and then we average it out and then
"We're
we rate
doing
the
both.
season.
We're
Like,
doing
I
both."
feel like in this case, you kinda have to do both. Like, you have to rate the episodes, you get the average, cool. But sometimes the average is like, no, I think the season as a whole maybe greater or lesser than that. So I don't know.
Yes, but then it will make me we're getting very nerdy with this, but then it will make me feel like, okay, if your whole season is great, but individual episodes I kinda was like up
Shaky.
and down,
Yeah.
it's kinda like, why you couldn't tighten it up? And then I also have to take into account, did you give me the whole entire season to binge at once, or did you give me week by week? And then for certain shows, like, they don't really do well, Netflix primarily did this, but for certain shows, they would have, like, a mid-season break, like,
Yeah. Grace does
you
that.
know yeah, so it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I could I feel like if I gave an entire season rating,
Diminished.
it would take yeah, it would diminish it to a certain
Yeah.
extent because I also had to judge it based off of how I'm
Yeah.
consuming it. in that moment.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I
Eh,
don't think there's any wrong way of how we could
yeah.
assess these things or how anybody wants to assess these things.
Yeah.
Like it's all subjective. It's,
Yeah.
art that they're putting out in the world. But I just think it's just very interesting
Yeah.
how and I don't think a lot of shows can execute in the way they just executed. Because I can't think of a show that like introduces a new character and essentially tells that story in
Eh,
within 4 episodes, and, like, not only is it did they execute it well, like, it probably could go down history in one of the more shorter form stories ever told in, like,
I've
TV
never
history.
I've never seen it. I've never when a new character's introduced, usually they have a longevity.
I have an example, but I'll say it later. I have an
Okay.
example of something, and
What?
it's slightly different. It's slightly different because it
Okay.
was only 1 episode, but I'll get to it soon. Um, but yeah, I don't have any more notes about this
Yeah.
show specifically, but I do wanted to give a shout out to Dan Fogelman. He's the showrunner and head writer, obviously the writer's room as well, and then obviously the actress Shailene Woodley who plays Annie,
Mm.
like,
Her name is Shailene?
soon. Yeah, I mean, but sometimes they be you never know. You I don't know how, I'm trying to think. This is not even an ethnic thing, but there used to be an era of, like, TV to a certain extent where they would talk about, like, previous generations and, like, "Oh, yeah, I named the kid after, like,
Yeah, yeah,
my favorite ex-boyfriend," and it's
yeah,
like, "What?" So,
yeah.
eh, dad was probably like, "Nah, it has to be Shailene. It has to be Shailene."
Mhm.
Mind you, her mom name is Amy. Like,
Right, literally. Peony. Literally.
why?
Yeah.
I can't tell you. It just has to be Shailene.
Never
That one time I went to the A to change my life. Change my
I'll never
life.
forget it, Shailene. Yeah.
Man, I've been searching for that fried chicken ever since. Um, but yeah, shout out to Dan Fogelman. He's a showrunner and head writer. I
Yeah.
think I've mentioned this before. He also wrote This Is Us.
Mhm.
He obviously wrote Paradise, and he pitched it to he called Sterling K. Brown. I was like, listen, I wrote the show. I want you to be the lead
Makes sense.
because I essentially wrote this for you.
And
Um,
and it shows, and like I said,
yeah,
I see so much of Randall Pearson in Xavier. Like, it literally if the universes collided, like, Randall Pearson and Xavier would be the same person. It's just, like, in a different universe almost.
fair, fair. I'm not mad at that. But yeah, shout out to him. Shout out to the writers' room because these people don't do this all alone. And then obviously shout out to Shane Lee Woodley. I just episode 4 within it. Just her entire performance was spectacular.
Yeah.
Like showing that level of like angst and uneasiness when she was about to drop out from med school and like having to deal with that one patient, and then just how she carried herself, and then like living alone, and then trying to, help out with Gail, and then how she dealt with Xavier, and she started to lighten up as time went on, same way that she started to operate with Link, and then obviously the whole labor to her untimely demise,
Yeah.
like round of applause,
I
like
really wish I could see her more this season. I feel like her acting is so well.
which was it was interesting because we talked offline. I only seen her in like she's in some sci-fi trilogy movie that was big for like teenage Divergent. She was in that. Never watched it. Not my jam. Um, but I seen her in that other movie that's on Hulu that I told you about,
Mhm.
and I was like, "Oh, this is a good movie." But I don't really know her work. But I remember when Paradise was about to air,
Mhm.
and like I'll go on threads and like, "Oh, Shailene's in this." Like, she's one of the ones by like white women were saying that. It's like, "Oh, okay." Like
Yeah, I think
y'all,
like because of that show she was on and she was pregnant in that, I think it was Secret Life of a Teenage Pregnancy. I can't remember, but it was really big, like, in the early 2000s,
oh, okay, okay. See,
and
I don't know. I didn't know.
I'm gonna look her up. Shailene.
Like I wasn't tapped in. I wasn't tapped in, but I was seeing like white women like, oh, they were really excited to see her in this season. I was like, "Oh, okay, like
Uh,
I've only seen her."
yeah, The Secret Life of American Teenager, like, that was on for seasons from 2008 to 2013, and she was the main
Okay.
character in that. And yeah, she's on Big Little Lies too. Hold on. I remember
Listen, man,
there.
resume respectable.
Okay.
Respectable. But yeah, I saw the white women were clamoring for her when it was announced that she was gonna be on season 2 once it was about to air. I was like, "Okay, like, I'm not really that familiar with her work,
Yeah.
but clearly she has respect of the community." So, shout out to her. Shout out to her.
Dang.
Um, but yeah, I guess we could go into final ratings.
Okay.
I've already said mines.
You said
I give you
5
know what? I'll give you I'll
punch
let you go first, and then I'll give my spiel about mine.
intentions across the board. Honestly, this was a good episode. Like I said, I guess me having no notes is a positive thing when it comes to shows. Like the more notes, the more I'm criticizing it. Less notes means I ain't criticizing. I'm enjoying the art. So I would have to give it a 5 too. Like if I try to give it a 4.5, I can't even say why I'm giving it a 4.5. Like
Yeah, there's nothing that I
yeah.
would
No hole like,
remove.
there were no holes at all, like, the story was told, everything made sense, even, like, them passing the passengers and, like, even though, like, they didn't bother them, even though you seen that gun, it's like, "Oh, are they bandits or something?" You don't
Mhm.
know, but then it's like when you actually have and we go back to those same passengers and they actually are helpful, so even that was like, yeah, full circle moment, full cir and then it's like they prepared him to take care of that baby. They had formula, they had wipes, they had all these things, like, and I'm
Gave him a nice ass jacket.
it was like and they was even like, we can take care of the baby if you need if you want us to, like, we'll do it if you want us to." So it's like, yeah, everything was like, no yeah, nothing. Nothing at all.
The one thing I forgot to mention, I was thinking about it, I didn't write it down.
Yeah,
Before I'll give my reasoning to my rating. The one thing I forgot to mention, I also liked, and this is another shout out to the people that are responsible for animals on shows and, movies as well.
the horse
The horse,
didn't wanna leave Annie. Yes.
and then as soon as the baby started crying and he was about to leave with the baby, that's when the horse was like, "Yeah, I'm here."
Mm. No ho exactly, no holes. Like I said, everything makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Everything makes sense.
Again, this is why my rating system is
Yeah,
very hard
yeah.
because there's prestige and then there's everybody else. Um, but in terms of the 5 that I've already mentioned, uh, 5 I reserve for like singular episodes of TV that like change or impact culture. When you talk about Game of Thrones, you could say The Red Wedding,
Mhm,
Battle of the Bastards,
mhm,
The Long Night.
mhm,
When you talk about Breaking Bad, I can't pronounce the name of that episode, but the episode where Hank finally gets
mhm,
killed
mhm,
and they take Jesse as their basically their slave to make their
uh-huh,
crystal meth or whatever. Like the Thanksgiving dinner episode of the bear
there,
and all that chaos, like that's prestige
yeah,
TV. The episode of Lost when um Sawyer and the rest of them are on that raft and they think they're finally get saved and then Sawyer gets shot and then they take I forget the boy's name, but
Walt,
they take Walt. Like that's those are things that are ingrained into my brain.
yeah,
This, oddly enough, I feel like doesn't fit into that category in a weird way
yeah,
because that's like momentum changing sort of like
yeah,
TV or whatever. But this is like storytelling, as you said, written to perfection.
yeah,
And then, like I mentioned, it made the season opener make sense, which is not that's not something you see in TV shows in general. Of like, oh, this is why we made this whole episode dedicated to that. Usually, when you have stuff like that, it's like, oh, this is a one off or
mhm.
whatever. But it's like chef's kiss. And then the show that is somewhat similar that did this, even though it's shaky, that first season of The Last of Us, that Bill and Frank episode,
That was a now that
whoo,
episode was so
smoker,
good,
bruh.
so good.
I rewatched that like a few months ago. I was sobbing.
That was so good.
sobbing,
Oh, I forgot all
okay?
about that, but now that you said it, it, like, popped in my brain.
Because you were saying, like, rarely do you see shows introduce new characters and you see their story and then they're
That's
kinda
what you were
gone.
talking about, yeah,
That is the only show that I've seen do that because
yeah,
you don't see Bill and Frank prior to the and I think that's episode 4, if I'm not mistaken,
yeah,
but you don't see Bill and Frank prior. You see them, how they interact across that time, and, like, their story is complete at the end of the episode, and it's like
yeah,
if you just think of like a real world scenario of like, yo, you're living in this apocalypse, you isolate yourself, you protect yourself, then you set up these traps in case humans come, and then this random person comes who happens to be same sexual orientation as you, and then you guys end up falling in love. And not only do you fall in love, he teaches you how to be comfortable with yourself because even in the apocalypse, you're still not living your truth.
mm,
You're still ashamed of who you are, and
mm,
he allows you to do so, and then y'all live together,
mhm,
and then he
they have a
essentially
routine together and all the things. That's what love looks
they don't make TV like that.
mm-mm, they don't.
So this is why this episode gets a 5.
Okay, I like
This is
that.
why.
I like
This is why
that
this
that was a
episode
good
gets a 5.
reasoning. I like that, yeah, yeah,
Because even though it's not the crazy I mean, yes, there's, like, crazy drama in this, but it's like, this is drama that only is going to stick within this episode,
mhm,
like, whatever the case may be. But, like, you tell a complete story in that frame, and it's
yeah,
magnifique.
yeah,
The only little knock that I will give it,
and
and this is just more, me being political, I do feel weird about a black man having to now nurture this little white baby, knowing our history and knowing how during slavery they would make the black female slaves be the caretaker
I
for the
feel
white
you,
children.
I feel you.
And as someone who has worked in the Upper West Side of Manhattan, if you've never been to the Upper West Side, it's a lot of fucking money over there. And a lot of the babysitters are black immigrant women.
Mm,
Like they'll come to Starbucks all the time with all the little white kids because they're the babysitters taking care of them while the parents are away working, doing whatever the case may be. So that was like the only little thing I was like,
yeah,
but that's just like a more personal thing, and it's not something I'll knock the show about because
yeah, no, that's
it's just a
that's
circumstance.
that's
But it's
personal.
images
Yeah,
do matter. So
media
it's like,
whoever controls the media controls the mind, so there's that.
listen, listen,
Yeah,
listen.
yeah,
But yeah, perfect episode of TV.
yeah, it was really good.
I don't want them to try to top it. I don't expect them to try to top it. Like,
I feel like how many more episodes we have? 4? 4 more?
oh, that was another point. Thank you for bringing that up. It's interesting that this is episode 4, and because we're in this era of streaming now,
Mhm,
because we get 8, 10 episode seasons, usually your 4th, 5th episode is like
you're
your
yeah,
mid-season peak,
yeah,
because if you think about traditional TV, as you was talking about with Grey's, usually when they get to Grey's is what, 23
yeah,
episodes?
something like that, yeah.
So usually by the time they get to episode 12, they take their winter break and then they come back in, the early part of the next year. So for them to release the first 3 and then episode 4 was essentially is week 2,
Mm.
but technically it would be week 4 if they were to do a week to week release. Like, I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but it's just an interesting sort of like approach that they
Because there's
took
so
with it.
much more story to be told, I feel like.
Right. And that
Yeah,
story's going to
we
be
had to really
told.
get, like, we know Link and Xavier posted, like, that we know that's, like, the end goal of it all, like, we know we're at, like, the last episodes is probably gonna be them in the bunker, what happened in the bunker, like, we get that. But it's still a lot of in between, a lot of gray areas
Mhm.
that we haven't seen between 4 and the season finale, so
Yes.
I'm excited to
Yes.
see the story, that's all I care about. I feel like I'm
Yes.
not gonna
And this is my last question to you, and I think you'll say yes, but this is hands down the best episode that The Paradise has had thus far. I don't think any episode from season 1 is better than this episode.
Well, I think the episode that I really thoroughly enjoyed this was a good episode, but, like, as far as, like, storytelling but that episode last season where it's, like, where they're showing us what happened when the world really ended. for them and like how the president reacted and them getting on the flight to him calling Terry 5 times and she wasn't answering. Like it just felt like that was such a good episode because it was like a straight flow. Like it was no fillers, it was no back and forth, it was none of that. It was straight like from A to Z. Like that's how I felt. This was a good episode. I mean, they're all great episodes. Like I said, Paradise is one of the best shows that I watched last year. I said that for a reason. It was an episode, and now we're in season 2. They're not disappointing me. So we'll see if they can top that episode. But this was a great episode too. I like the back and forth between like them being in a bunker and like showing a medical birth, like where she tried to have the baby naturally, but unfortunately the baby's heart rate dropped, so they had to go to a C-section. And in between that, they're switching between Annie like not
Mhm.
having anybody, and then like she had somebody, but then like the negatives of like the child pregnancy. So like I like that, but it's not like that last episode, like from last season. To me, that's just me though. I like a
Okay.
little action
Okay.
sometimes. But the
Okay.
storytelling
That's
here was a good too as well. But it was, when you're jumping back and forth, sometimes when you're telling the story, it can kind of, shake it up a little bit. But
okay.
oh great.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I've said this before. You was much higher on season 1 than I
Yeah.
was, because once you seen a few post-apocalyptic stuff, you kind of seen them all. So even you expressing like, oh yeah, the episode when we see the fall of humanity, it's been done already. So it didn't wow me because
I'm trying to think. What other have I seen
you've
where
seen it in like World War Z, you've seen it in like I
movies,
Am Legend, like
movies,
yeah, movies like have done
movies.
even like The Walking Dead. Well, one of the Walking Dead spinoffs had something slightly similar, so
Yeah.
I've seen it before, so it didn't wow me. But
That was my first time seeing it because I don't really
got you.
watch those type
I
of
respect it. I respect it. I
yeah.
respect it. The one last thing I would say, because there was one thing I did say that I was going to be in fear of because it was something that I didn't love about Silo was like you take your main character and you have them stuck somewhere else for a long period of time. I like that they're doing like minimum time jumps. Like
Mm,
one episode he's in Graceland, before the episode ends, he already in the A.
yeah.
Like I like that.
I
I
do like they
like
didn't drag that out too.
right, because they could have spent the whole season with him trying to get from point A to point B
Yeah.
and all the issues that he faced,
Yeah.
and it's like, bro, like,
Yeah.
come
He already faced too
on.
many the first 2 episodes. Like,
Yeah, now you got a whole baby with you, and you already know how I feel about babies and children and post-apocalyptic clip them,
what is he gonna do with this baby? Like, what is he gonna do with this baby?
Oh, one last thing. He still has to say more, but that guy that was in Atlanta, at first I thought he was gonna say like him and Terry were a thing.
Me too.
That's the way he was talking.
That's what it sounded like to me too.
So
That's what I
I don't
heard.
know.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm happy he knew exactly who that man was when he seen her. He chose his words correctly.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But that was like, him? Uh.
You love people for the insides and not the outsides. You know.
I do both. So, that's all we have for this week's episode. That's all we have for our reaction to Paradise. Thoroughly, I love when I watch good TV. It's funny because we were talking offline of like, damn, like I'm going to miss my Night of the King,
Mhm.
Night of the Seven Kingdoms,
Yeah.
Sundays, and like
Yep.
what I'm going to replace it with in terms of
Now
like
you got a good
prestige TV.
Monday and a
Now I
good
got,
Thursday.
now I got Paradise and Thursdays with Pitt. So,
Ooh, can't wait to watch that this week. Ooh.
whew, smokers
I know.
all around. But yeah, if you haven't done so already, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I know we've gotten a lot of new followers and subscribers because of
Yeah.
social. So we appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure you turn on your post notifications because we cover a lot of TV. So your support means a lot, support Black creators, support independent creators, and like, support us because we support y'all.
Mhm. That
And
part.
that's all we got. We out of here. We out of here.
Yeah.